ourselves. And that's really what I think is important for India and for all of us to think about. How do we innovate ourselves? I like your slide, the last slide, quite a bit actually. And I wish I was going to ask you if I could use that. But, so this is where I think we, Accenture, a very worthy competitor of ours, we're very proud. I'm proud to be here in the same company as Dr. Ghosh. We really take pride in it, which is to truly understand the client perspective. If you don't understand what your client wants, especially when you're trying to build a complex software solution, and software is complex. Navya traced us through, I think it was Dr. Ghosh who traced us through, the exports in terms of raw materials to a finished product. When you're talking about manufacturing, you have a specification with tolerance limits. You have a lot of data around it. When you talk about software, all you have is a specification, and that specification is left to interpretation very often, and that's part of the problem. So when we talk about understanding, getting a good understanding of what the client wants, understanding the business perspective, this is where I see fundamental problems in what happens, at least from the life cycle of software delivery today. Because think about a situation where you build a application to specification, but you didn't think about asking the client, what is the future use of this application? How is that application going to be extended? Extended to different markets perhaps, extended to different products. If you haven't asked that question and your client hasn't told you that, I think there's a fundamental problem over there, because when the client has to take this piece of application and extend it out, then they have problems, right? When you have to extend it out to a different geography or a different market or a different product or service offering, you could have issues. So the key there is to truly understand the client's perspective, understand their business. And that's one of the things that we do at Deloitte, which is truly understanding the industry perspective, having good understanding, looking at past experiences in the same industry, looking at clients that we've which we've saved sometimes, and bringing that knowledge to bear when we go into an implementation. Well, let me just talk a little bit about the topic, which is the cost of quality. I can tell you about 10 years ago, we really didn't think about cost of quality. We did things the way we did things. We really didn't need to. I think what really was the tipping point was two things. One, our implementations became more complex, primarily because of the type of deals. The size, complexity of the deal, but also our clients started to ask us, well, you put some skin in the game. We want you to do not just a fixed bid with penalties, but we want you to do a value-based billing arrangement, where you help us implement it and you share the benefits with us. So if you don't get the benefits that are promised, it's part of your business case, you don't get to get the rewards. So those are the types of things that have prompted us to think about cost of quality, right? The second thing, I think, is just the whole influx of the amount of work that gets done in India. As we started to leverage India and our offshore capabilities more, we started to really think about cost of quality. And the cost of quality, simply, when you think about quality, as I mentioned in software terms, is difficult. But when you think about cost of quality, you're really thinking about things around what is the cost to prevent bad quality. So what are the things that you need to do from a testing perspective, from all the maturity that you need to build into the processes, the methods, the tools, the capabilities that you need to instill in, not just from a process and capability standpoint, but in terms of people as well. That, to me, is the prevention cost. Then there is a cost which is associated with failure. And if a product fails, and you catch it when it's still within the organization, it's much better than when the product fails when it's outside your realm of influence. So that to me is the key part of cost of quality. It's to be able to have a mature process, have mature capabilities, have people, have everything aligned, and have a corporate culture that drives toward it. A lot of the topics, a lot of the themes from you Oscar, and what you said. Those are the types of things that are important to drive quality in an organization. So quality, it's not just working as design, it's not just about performance, it's not just about creating long-term value for the client, but it's really about creating a product, creating a solution that truly fits the client's both short-term and long-term needs. And that's where I think the journey for us has begun, because it's not just about taking something, a specification, and developing on the specification, but it's truly kind of industrializing that solution. And I want to use that word industrializing the solution slightly differently than that was used before. In our terminology, industrializing the solution is taking all the industry knowledge that we have. And I say industry, it's based on whether it's the retail industry, or it's the healthcare industry, or it's the life sciences industry. It's taking all that residual knowledge that we have in our practice and building repeatable solutions around it. We have done several of those at Deloitte. One key example would be a case management solution that we do for the public sector governments in the US. So it's kind of taking all that knowledge, having built that, and building it out, and then rolling it out to other clients. I think that helps us mature our delivery capabilities. It helps us give our services, or provide our services to our clients at a much better price threshold that makes us competitive in the marketplace. And these are the types of things that not only help us drive and instill quality and the quality philosophy in the product that's being developed, but it also helps us in being able to meet the client's requirements and add all the other things that you need to think about when you deliver a solution to the client. A lot of it may not be what they're telling you. A lot of it is what you bring to the table. I've heard this from our clients. I've heard situations where you build something and the client's giving you the specification. You write your design documents, you write your technical specifications, and you get sign-off at various points. Everyone over here, I'm sure, does that. The different gating processes that you go through. And you build the product, you test it, everything is accepted. Ultimately, somebody puts up their hand and says, well, we missed this part. And our clients tell us, we hire you to make sure we don't miss those things. And that's what I'm talking about by industrialized solutions. We want to make sure that we bring that industry insight to the client. It's not just what the client tells you, but it's very often what you bring to the client as well. And that's a fundamental difference. And as part of our maturing, and as part of what we are seeing in terms of our growth in the software industry, I'm hoping that we bring